I believe it's level 4 until he can start full clearing the wave. So we'll see how that works, but I do see just Viego and Ari having their way in the mid jungle. So if Faith and Taco can find some early jump starts, they could easily take that advantage, in my opinion, to the bot side.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if they can speed the game up for themselves, or will time be slowed down by the deep cross mid laner. Always an interesting pick ban phase watching this squad. You never know what Nesty is going to pull out next, and we'll take a look if there's any shenanigans to start us off in game number 1, or in game number 2 here, excuse me. Interestingly enough, Leaky going for a bit more of a defensive choice in that rune pick.
Yeah, we do have Leaky with the Grasp, which is, we have seen it against tanks, but not so much against the Jace, which is the interesting thing here. It is showcasing that I think it's a trade pattern thing. Leaky doesn't really expect to get extended trades against Quiet while he's going to be taking a lot of incoming damage. So most likely he's just going in for a snip and then running out back and taking the Hollowed Mist with him. So
just a bit off the top, not a full haircut.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, I think, the main reason he's going for the grass. Another interesting thing is Faith here. Usually you do see the Airy being taken by Ari, but as you can see, this is very much a burst-focused Ari. He's trying to push the tempo early, and I love to see that. A lot of it does come down to if you can land those charms or not, but we're going to finally get Faith on a good Ari game, hopefully.
Also, I may be a little biased, but Ari is a little difficult to say, so I definitely prefer the Electrocute on the whole. Yeah, I want to watch this top matchup, too, because we talked about how Quiet and Leaky are both really interesting top laners coming into this league, and I think they both have a lot to prove. Leaky has shown up immensely already, but we haven't seen him on this Gwen, so theoretically he has a massive advantage, and he's gone for this more interesting and unorthodox trading pattern with the Grasp of the Undying, and also, the more defensive summoner spell setup. No Ignite for the Gwen, teleport instead. It's all team focus.
He is going to have a little bit more regen with this setup too, and as we can see, the poke potential here is actually quite strong coming in from Leaky. He's not really losing the trade, also has the minion advantage to level 2.
Ooh, aggressive move from Woody. They've actually got the root up, but Pinway turns around and body blocks. Man, Johnny on the spot for that support. I've been loving what Pinway's brought to this team. No shade at Kralix, but it does feel like a different caliber of bot lane 2v2.
For sure. I feel like his team fighting as well has been pretty solid. So Impunity have shored up what I consider to be their primary weakness, which is they don't really have an explosive early game. Quiet, in my opinion, is actually quite decent in the lane, but he doesn't get that much help from Taco, and his laning stats do suffer a lot. Bot lane with Kralix, they did lose a lot of 2v2s, and Faith is usually pretty quiet in that area as well. So once they shore up a lot of their early game, I feel they have a lot more explosiveness coming into the mid game, especially when they're running these combinations that do require a lot of wombo combos and just reset kills.
Oh boy. Yep. Sees the Herald path coming and walks straight away. Leaky is going to be dissuaded for just a second. Taco obviously just taking the opportunistic movement, and Hana, meanwhile, will go ahead and take an opportunity to pick up the Scuttle Crab topside. And Hecarim in a game, you talk about how it's so much impact in those team fights. A little bit later on, lets the dive really commence, and we've seen some hugely impactful Onslaught of Shadows, but he can definitely gank early. Ooh, Charm lands on the Zillion. Nicely done. Faith dodges out all of the bombs and manages to dish it right back.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so difficult to lane against an Ahri in this situation. You can see that Faith is pushing the lane in, which usually is an indication you're winning in the mid lane. And you do get the extra movement speed from Foxfire. It's very telegraphed coming in from Nesty. I just feel like mid lane is going to be very difficult to do anything with. Meanwhile, they don't spot this Taco coming in.
Here he goes, Kriskata trying to walk away. In fact, they actually opt for the Tom Kench instead as he steps right on top of the traps, gets the gray health, but that's going to be first blood to Blaze. And now Hana comes in, forcing the flash out of Pinway. And honestly, that was a nice smash and grab.
Yeah, that was a great anticipation right there. Well, maybe it wasn't anticipated, but unfortunately for Woody, he did flash straight into that hook regardless. So, just strong early lead coming in from Impunity, and this is exactly what they want to see. They want to get that Jinx fed. Blaze has been the main damage dealer for this team. No surprises there. It was the same thing in the last split as well. And if he gets fed, then this kind of reset composition gets a lot easier to execute.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's the smart thing to do, and they did it exactly as they needed. Curious that the focus really was so hard on Woody. It just seemed like Chris Scotta would have been a prio target, but maybe they sensed he would be able to get away easier. Actually doesn't end up needing his flash. But all said and done, I mean, that finishes off the Noon Quiver. Meanwhile, back to the top, Quiet is in a lot of trouble here as he gets the knockaway, but Leaky ghosting on, walks it out. Quiet, well, he's still a little bit behind in this farm game as soon as this wave gets cut down to size, but you got to be careful not to get 1v1 by the Gwen.
Yeah, this is a pretty terrible situation for Quiet here, as he does have to walk back to his lane in this one. That does mean that DCG, in my opinion, has a chance to just go level 6 and lane gank him. He won't have enough time to really set up this lane correctly. He still has 2 wards, which is a lot more than I anticipated. But let's see if Hana decides to make a move here. That level 6 Onslaught of Shadows is incredible. And right now with his bot lane losing and mid lane being an Ahri, I feel like top lane is definitely the prime target for him.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, try to win more if you can. Meanwhile, Woody is going to go ahead and take a little bit of a field trip into the mid lane, and not going to cost Chris Scotta a whole lot of anything at the moment. Oh, Quiet, got to be careful. Goes to the skies, into the mist, and actually gets the knock onto Leaky, but this is maybe the worst time to try to get aggressive because he runs straight into Hana, who doesn't even have an ult or need it.
Yeah, that was incredibly weird from Quiet. I feel like it was overplaying his hand. I understand that he wanted to bait Leaky into Taco and hopefully get the team rolling that way, but he didn't have vision of Hana. Nesty's coming in here, and now it's a 3v1.
Yeah, he kind of baited Taco into Leaky, and there we go. Hana's going to get a second one as the delayed double comes in, and so much farm going to waste. His Faith will look to try and grab it up himself, a little late to the party, and that is the difference. In the team coordination, Deep Cross just a little bit better and a little bit faster.
Yeah, I definitely see Quiet just mispositioning right there. Hana, as I talked about, it's really expected for him to just go top lane. Like, there is no other lane that's actually easy to gank in this situation, especially when Woody doesn't have a flash. It's very hard to secure any type of crowd control. So I feel like Quiet just overplays his hand. He could have waited for that wave to come in and just take it underneath his tower with the help of Taco. Ventures out, gets killed, and now we have Hana that's actually very fed right now on the map. And you can see Hana and Nespi, both with those roaming Ionian boots, are going to have a massive impact on the map.
Yeah, lanes, what lanes? 7.5 minutes into this one, it is a gold lead for Deep Cross. Not huge, but they definitely have it on the players that they would be happy with for the time being. As nobody's making eyes at the dragon just yet, but I think that is about to be a different story for the Rift Herald as Quiet opens up. Got to be careful. This isn't the safest take, but it is well-timed. I don't think they're going to be contested.
Yeah, I love this play from Impunity coming in. They do get the earlier rotation in. They have had mid lane priority this entire time, so very easy to set this up. They should just burn down this Herald as quickly as possible and have a safe retreat.
Taco looks to walk this one out, and on the rotate, he does dash. That was a close call, but no major cooldowns expended to make their escape. And Impunity, you know, when they make their minds up to make a play, they can definitely execute it quite quickly. And I think that's one of the strengths that this team has that they did not last split with their different roster.
They have shown quite a knack for macro play most of the time. As we were saying, I think most of the time when we see Impunity lose, it is just because of weird one-off mistakes. We've seen just Taco being caught off a lot of the times, or it used to be Krelix just being caught in the middle of nowhere, and that just kind of led to open Barons. But I feel like Impunity, now that they've had time to gel, those mistakes are going to just kind of iron themselves out. They're going to disappear, and what we're seeing is just a very strong sense of where they can claw back and trade things away. Impunity games have been incredibly close across the board, even if they are losing.
Yeah, and that's what's nice to see. They always keep it interesting. Meanwhile, it's a big old party up topside. Faith completely whiffs on the charm while Hana and Nesty duo him. Meanwhile, Leaky in a 1v2 situation, dishing the damage with the needlework and Onslaught of Shadows. Flashed away, Hana taking damage, return fire, and it's just about enough. But Nesty is there for the chrono shift. Will he be able to finish him? Taco goes forward with the Blade of the Rune King, and I don't believe it. Everybody walks away from this one, Clement.
They just can't finish off any targets. Great play there by DCG. Honestly, in terms of the champions and the burst potential, Impunity very easily could have picked off one target, but DCG did get the drop on their opponent from that inner tri-brush, forcing Faith to use his ultimate just a bit earlier and his abilities. So they were able to play that sequence out very nicely with Leaky going into the top side. He basically landed all 3 charges of his ultimate, stayed completely topped off there, and they're able to pull that one into an equal footing. And in the meantime, I believe they even got a little bit more CS back on Cristada's side by picking up that scuttle.
Yeah. No, overall, advantage DCG. You can see it reflecting in the gold game, just slowly creeping up. It's been averaging just a little under 1,000 here, which is not a small amount. And now it's Impunity aiming for, I was about to say the Dragon, but they're actually just trying to go on a ward clear and maybe see if they catch anybody here. This is an aggressive move as Faith finds Hana. The charm is dashed away from. I think they might have bit off more than they could chew. They are going to look for the Hecarim, but Hana gets swallowed up by Woody here. Now it's Taco in some trouble as the Super Mega Death Rocket completely intercepted. Taco knows he's dead. Griscata opens the curtain call, and Pinway has to flash away as Faith is absorbing everything and leaves the support out to dry. A little too aggro as Blaze tries to pick up the pieces here, but what can one AD carry do against everybody? Another death denial. Faith tries to keep it alive, but he knows there is no more help coming. DCG cleaning up.
Oh, DCG with the superior composition, a perfect counter to a burst assassin comp is when you have Tom Kench and Zillion on the same team. It was unfortunate for Impunity. I felt like their initial try definitely could have succeeded, but they just didn't chain up the crowd control well enough. Hana was able to sidestep the remainder of that burst. There wasn't enough of that damage coming in from Blaze on that ultimate, and we can just watch that play again. It's only 1 out of 3 crowd control abilities landing on Hana, and that's just not enough to kill him. Woody with the perfect body block, and Taco's just kind of left out to dry here. Easy range for the Jhin to just open up here. Pingway goes down, and sometimes Faith is just not enough.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I don't think Faith had much himself as he flashed away. Thought he would be able to get away, but unfortunately, not only does he die, so does Pinway. And all said and done there.
Quite dead
Cross
too.
Gaming. Yeah, they get, well, Rift Herald just popped in topside, but that's going to prompt a teleport response here. Impunity, I don't want to say they squandered a lead, but they certainly gave themselves up a little bit more than they needed to. And oh no, Shelly's not even going to get a charge off. I think Taco was probably reaching the end of the timer.
Yeah, I feel like he just
bad,
had to use it. You know, if you don't drop it, it's... I ponder in these situations if you should drop it or not, because, you know, dropping it is kind of free gold, but let's first watch how Quiet dies. It's actually just a solo kill, 1v2 right in front of the enemy's face. Takes that one as easy as can be. He even dodges out of Taco's ultimate here, and
that's a
Taco with the
frustration
timer
herald.
up. Yeah, there's nothing you could do there.
Yeah, Leaky's having a pretty good game on this Gwen. I think all said and done. Rest of Deep Cross looking to dive up topside now. This could be trouble. Blaze not even on full health. Immediately heals. There goes the Onslaught of Shadows. Good separation right now as they will find 2. And Pinway has absolutely nowhere to go in Faith. I don't even know what you're doing here, buddy, as he Spirit Rushes over. Does grab 1. Is it going to be enough to save the tower? I don't think so. All plates destroyed. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, I should say, oh boy, everything is going.
Wins a 1v1?
Everything's going bad for Impunity right now, Clement. That was a Cristada solo kill.
Oh, how does that one happen? Okay, now Cristada does have a full mythic item complete. He's actually really fed at this point. I'm sorry for questioning him. It's still very impressive that he's going to be able to find the kill onto Quiet. It just feels like Quiet has been going from death to death to death this game. Definitely not a great showing for him on the top side, and we're going to take another look at what happened here. I love this combination. They juggle the tower aggro so well. He dives in with the bomb on top of Hana. Hana, when he goes into resurrection mode, does drop the aggro, so they walk out of the tower range, and the tower isn't even hitting anyone at that point. It just goes until Woody hits the tongue lash. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Quiet actually does a good job to sidestep, but the item difference, that's just sad to see. He was able to get away from the W, but not from the Gale Force and auto attacks.
Never bring a hammer to a gunfight is what I learned out of that one. And, you know, I think what's been really impressive this game for Deep Cross has just been how effective Nesty's chrono shifts have been. I mean, it's a zillion. It's not that complicated, but like it's just so much heavy denial and so much good use of juggling aggro on tower dives. It enables them to both be defensive and aggressive in a really effective manner. Impunity are going to be able to get this bot tower, but even with first brick, it feels like they're in a bit of a gold hole that's going to be hard to come back from. Objective bounty is huge, though, and that does make a difference.
We're going to watch that one again. It just seems like Leaky must die. That's kind of the answer from Impunity here. They land everything. Not the shock blast, but it doesn't really require it. Oh,
ooh,
wow.
He does a lot of damage. He almost killed Quiet. Yeah. I feel like there was a bit of vendetta in that one. Meanwhile, though, Rift Herald popped in mid. I don't think he can stop the charge here. And meanwhile, as well, Hana comes in. They've got Taco caught up and rooted. No way to follow through on the damage, but they did prevent any defensive effort. And I think there might even be a second Shelly charging as the curtain call is popped. A few more shots, bombs on. They do get the stun up, and whoa, boy! That's a lot of damage. Messi waves the white flag at him.
Yeah, I was surprised that Hana actually got that kill. He actually just chilling smited the enemy support like he was a minion. It's definitely kind of sad to see in that situation. This is what I love about BCG's comp. It not only counters the enemy comp, there's so many different ways and tools that you can use it. Like, you can play a poke comp with this, with the Zillion Bombs and the Jhin, and you can also play a very aggressive, just dive your backline comp with the Hecarim and the Zillion too. So there's a lot of good wrinkles in this composition, and I don't think Impunity has been able to follow most of these moves.
It's hard. I mean, admittedly, like, Deep Cross have just been moving a little too fast. I love that they've given themselves the versatility to have some fun in this game. And, I almost wish we got a replay of that one because, like, the way it was timed, it almost looked like Shelly killed Pinway. It was perfectly timed. Like, beautiful. Dragon's pretty free here for Hana. I mean, Hana's just having an absolute banger of a game. Like, he can do whatever he wants in this, and what he's going to want is charge in with a bomb on top of him and just free onslaught of shadow somebody and never die on that turbo chem tank. And yeah, there's not a whole lot that Impunity can do about this, short of trying to finish the backline before it happens. But you talked about how this is a team that rests on resets. It's getting harder and harder to find a good target for them.
Yeah, and usually you have to stay grouped up if you want to reset something. Quiet.
There we go. Oh, man, you get away from one, but there's more coming, and Quiet is going to be put 6 feet under here. Pinway flashing. I don't even know if it was necessary as he gets finished off by Leaky, and it just looks so tough right now for Impunity, as another tower should be shredded here. Criscata and Woody keeping that mid lane clear of minions, and really, Faith, all he can do is try to finish off the outer up top, which he got before that. Well, still doesn't quite hit it on the charm.
Azilian is one of the most frustrating champions to play against. Sure, he's never going to kill you. Like, he doesn't have any kill potential on this Ahri whatsoever.
But you're never going to kill him either.
Exactly. You're not going to kill his team. That was a weird lane allocation from Impunity. I feel like they were playing a little bit too risky. They just tried to hope that someone would walk towards that top lane tower and allow Taco to find a kill there. It doesn't happen, and they get caught basically undermanned on the other side of the map. So, well played by Nesty. He didn't try and go up and contest that. He definitely sensed the presence of another jungler around that area and allowed his team to get a clean 2-kill and a tower on the other side.
Yeah, really, really good moves from Deep Cross Gaming here in a 6,000 gold lead shy of the 19-minute mark. Hey, there's a charm. Unfortunately, it's on to Hana, and he just walks away on 4 legs. I mean, that is a big centaur.
Yeah, doesn't even really care about the... He doesn't have any magic resistance, but he's so tanky right now that even with the true damage, Ahri's not doing much to him. And this is an interesting Ahri build. Usually we still see Everfrost to make sure the combo goes in.
He really wanted that extra damage. Faith could be in trouble, though. Bombs are just going to destroy the minions. Has been able to keep himself alive a lot. I do think Faith has certainly improved when he's been able to play these types of champions that are more assassin-y. His Yasuo game definitely was a part of that, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Deep Cross are looking to set up for a bit of a bait in the jungle, or maybe just a big push here as Criscata leading the way. Not a whole lot that Impunity can do until they bring the cavalry, but those double bombs you have to dodge. They're starting to hurt. Pinway looks to set up, does get the Tahm Kench, and into the knockup. Do they have the damage? Here comes Hana. Do they have it to finish him off? That's one reset. Can you get two, Blaze? Oh, the captive audience, and here comes the curtain call to turn. Taco already turns around, and man, it looked like they had the advantage, but Pinway evaporates, and now they can't do anything.
Oh, what a great snipe from Criscata. He just tags him by the shoulder. You could see that Blaze was trying to save his support, but just couldn't cover the entire width of that Nautilus there, and he still goes down in a 1-for-1 trade. It was great timing from Impunity, I have to say. Like, that was their best chance to get a kill. And remember, when Impunity wants to kill someone, they actually have to go through 2 layers of defenses, the Tahm Kench Devour and also the Chrono Shift. So it was really smart that they opened up onto Woody. Honestly, Woody should not be positioning like that. That was kind of troll from Tahm Kench. Like, you're one of the big champions that allows your team to escape. You should never be in the front lines, kind of baiting like that one. So, kind of mispositioning, but on the back end, Criscata just cleans this situation up so well.
And this is why we give Criscata a lot of props, right? We've been seeing this guy pop up on hyper carries, but now we're seeing some really good snipe senses on the side of a Jhin, and he's honestly of all the rookies, of all the new players coming to the split, I think he's definitely made the biggest splash in my mind. And I'm really excited to see what he can do with this Deep Cross team, because they, you know, a little mistake cost them the game against CFO, but the fact that they were toe-to-toe for so long, I think that speaks volumes and why they only have one loss. It's starting to look like they're going to end the day without losing another one here against the side of Impunity, as long as they keep this effort up.
It certainly does look that way. Right now, Impunity can't really leave any of their towers. If they do, I feel like Ahri and Jace just get run down. Jinx and Jace just get run down. They don't have enough mobility. An interesting thing here from Hana, we have been seeing some of this pop out, but usually it's when you are relatively certain that you're going to be ahead. It is going to be a damage-oriented Hecarim coming in here.
I'm getting flashbacks to the top smite Hecarim, Clement.
True. That's the pure tank Hecarim, but this one's kind of different. This one, he's got some horseshoes on those trotters there.
Yeah, Anamine. Okay, all right. Well, Impunity are going to go for a Desperation Baron, and this is interesting. Leaky has Teleport, but they haven't sniffed this out yet. I believe they just catch wind of it now, or at least the game sense is there. And here comes Hana. He won't be able to flash the pit, but the Baron's already down to 4,000. This is a risky gambit. Impunity have to commit. Onslaught of Shadows. Oh, Hana just does so much damage, but they got to finish. They have to commit. It's going to get taken away by Taco, but will they live to tell the tale of the Great Baron Theft? Impunity trying to make their great escape. They are going to leave Pinway for dead. Faith might be as well, but it's not going to be the bait taken. Leaky taking a lot of damage here as Taco gets removed from the map. Blaze is going to try to walk this out, but nowhere to go as he's rooted for days. So Quiet and Faith will get away. Was it worth?
I think it was. If you just lose 3, it's honestly just losing 2 people for Baron. If you take a look at the gold lead, they actually close the gap a little, especially with the objective bounties as well. So I would say for Impunity, that was definitely worthwhile. It was super risky, but I think a couple reasons this actually worked was because of that Leandri's coming in from Faith. He does deal extra damage to monsters there. The charge in from Hana is great, but the smite fight is won by Taco here, so it does make things worthwhile. Honestly, it's a shot in the dark. It's a Hail Mary, but if it works, it works. And when you're in a losing position like this, any bit of gold that you can claw back is definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And there was no way they were getting out super cleanly. I do like that they tried to dip, duck, dive, and dodge. They managed to get at least one of their big damage dealers out. They removed Hana from the map, which is, you know, big bounty as well. And you gotta be careful. Hana straight charging into the base right now. He might actually have bitten off more than he could do here. This is an opportunity as they take down Nesty, and Hana has nowhere to go. It's a double kill for Taco all of a sudden.
That's actually huge. Impunity can claw back and come back into the gold lead. They have a free tower into the top lane, and just think how many objective bounties, or just bounties in general, that they've taken right now. They got the Hecarim one. They've gotten the top lane. They were down by 6k before that Baron. Look at the gold lead now. It's down to 3,000. They're going to get another bounty And I don't think Hana got the memo. It's Season 12. You can't just int like that and not expect the enemy to come roaring back.
Oh man, they should have been shallow cross-gaming on that one. Meanwhile, dive in for round number 2. Unfortunately, Taco is the one that goes too deep this time. Both junglers fighting off a lot more than they could chew, and Leaky is trying to cut them down to size. Finds one, finds two, looks for a third. Oh boy, Impunity, you might have wanted to rest on your laurels a bit. Let's see if Quiet can walk this out as he tries to dodge and takes 3 shots in the back of the head. Hana gonna hunt him down, and after a big turnaround, I wonder if they can hold on here. Oh, the fastback, not gonna happen. Nesty to the skies. Quiet walking away. The great escape from the Jace. I don't know if it's gonna work though, Clement. He runs face first into Hana. Good night, sweet prince.
Well, there was a glimmer of hope. It lasted for just a second, but Impunity massively overplayed
They stopped
their
the
hand
base
on
from
that
being
one.
taken. I'll give them that. Like they were too busy chasing the Jace to take the base.
That is somewhat true. That is somewhat true. I just want to say that they could have came back and stayed within just 1,000 gold with the Baron buff. That should have guaranteed them to actually overtake in the gold lead. But this play was so unnecessary. Taco had nowhere to go, and I honestly just think he should have backed off after the charm didn't land. There was no need to chase up after that one. They're still underneath the enemy tower. Pingwei takes a ton of tower shots. And even though Quiet does get some pretty sweet outplays coming in here, it's just such a wasted opportunity on the side of Impunity. I'm really rooting for Impunity. I love this squad. I feel like they're so fun to watch, but it is these mid-game mistakes and overreaches like this that have doomed them to a subpar win rate.
Yeah, there's a better chance than I feel like there was before the Baron still, but they certainly squandered the best opportunity, and now they're in a little bit of trouble, right? I mean, Leaky is just like full terrifying Gwen. Hana's been a big monster this game, and it feels like the only opportunity for Impunity is more mistakes now, and they do get a charm off, but Leaky's big enough to just tank it through. He's okay with this. Impunity have to pull off a miracle of a fight. They need the resets. Taco stepping forward. He's sniffing for an opportunity, but will he get one?
Hey, if Hana can int once, then maybe he can int twice. They can definitely overplay their hand with the chrono shift here.
Hey, look, stranger things have happened. Faith already taken a little bit of damage from that 4th Jin shot, and Hana looking for a flank play, but it's telegraphed by the tower, or by the ward, I should say. Meanwhile, the tower does get taken by Leaky, so starting to look a little dangerous. Oh, the double bomb lands into the curtain call. Pingwei trying to walk away. Dodges at least a couple of the shots as Taco tanks one up, and that's one less ultimate to worry about. But this ought to be tower on the inner, and Deep Cross are looking to choke Impunity out of the rest of the map.
Yeah, Impunity at this point, they don't really have strong engage, and even if they do engage, I feel like it's enough time with all of their defensive tools, the Devour and the Chrono Shift, for Leaky to actually make the way top. So it was a moment of indecision, I feel like, from Impunity. They definitely should have decided to defend the mid lane inner inhib tower rather than the top lane tower. I feel like they were putting themselves in a far too exposed position by trying to defend outside of their high ground. And they end up paying on both sides. We do have a couple of summoners burned, but actually none in that exchange. So we do have one big team fight left, I think, for Impunity. All summoners up, they get one reset kill where Chrono Shift doesn't land on the correct target, and they could start to snowball. This is a 3-item jinx. We have seen crazier things happen before.
You're certainly not wrong, and the Baron is going to be up just about now as Woody clears out the wards in that side of the pit. Impunity have one more chance to make this count. However, there's also a soul on the table, and even though it's Cloud, I think actually Deep Cross should be pretty happy with this. I mean, that ability haste certainly not looking too shabby for this composition.
Yeah, for sure, and the extra movement speed is quite nice here as well. So I think it's just, it's kind of a win more at this point when you have full map control, but it definitely could help you just catch up to Impunity, especially on those Baron turnarounds. I feel like the game plan for Deep Cross is just so simple at this point. You just walk towards Baron, and if Impunity do try to come out of their own base, you have so many tools to chase them down. Look at the extra movement speed for Criscata right here. It's going to be very difficult to get away from
he's a speedy
from
boy.
them. So Impunity, they can't fight a sustained battle. They have to pick someone off right at the start. If they're the ones sort of funneling into a battlefield, I just feel like they're going to get picked apart and then chased down one by one.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough with that move speed. I mean, look at Criscata go. I mean, he's clearly not skipped leg day as he just runs through. And I feel like Deep Cross can just bait this Baron out. In fact, they can easily take it on 4.
Well, they definitely could. Leaky just trying to play interference at this point. Impunity know about this, but with Hana being so tanky, it's hard to actually put any meaningful damage, and here they go.
Yeah, it's the bait. On to Pinway, but they have to go now or go home. On to Faith. They open the curtain call at the moment, and in goes Hana to the back line, and all of a sudden, they've lost 2, and it's going to be a desperate fight here as Criscata is chased around by Quiet and Taco, but unfortunately, Blaze is left out to dry, and Leaky is just popping off. Quick 3 kills. They don't need the other 2, and they certainly don't need the Baron for this final push.
Oh, that was so painful to watch from Blaze's perspective. He's trying to chase into the enemy backline, but then he crosses a brush, and Leaky's already finished off his backline and circled around to pick him off too. Impunity just way too far behind, never got the resets going, especially from that Ahri.
Desperate last effort from Quiet, but it won't amount to anything. They tried an interesting comp. I liked what we saw out of Impunity, but it was too little, it was too late, and at 31 minutes, Deep Cross Gaming will claim another victory.
Once again, DC